What's up, everybody? This is Cowabunga Joff coming at you again with another review, another album review. Finally, the long-awaited. I've this has actually been this is a mixtape. It's actually been out for, let me see. I think it was September he released it. Yeah, September 2019. So a little bit behind, but I'm also on time because this music is really under the radar. It's really uh, uh, on a discreet level. People who are on topic and on par with what's coming through in these bars and these lines, uh, they will be learning. They'll be quickly learning uh, to like the vocabulary, to the substance that's within it. But for no further ado, this is the review for fuck time out. Yeah, I know. El-Elyon. He's got two of them: the Greater Key of Jupiter and Watcher of the East. Both of them he released in like September 2019, and man, both of these projects are pretty crazy. I mean, they're quick little like snippets. Not like too much. Got 7 songs on one, or 7 tracks on one, and 7 tracks on the other. So it's a quick, rundown of like what's going on, what he's bringing to the table as an artist. And I think this has been like my 4th review of his, and you know, it's not that he's coming out with like new material all the time, but he's being consistent with his message. And to me, the bottom line of his message is that he values the spiritual and the material in the same set of standards that he's coming through as an artist with his mindset, with what he's come through in his past. Uh, the greater key, to me, the greater key of Jupiter. There's these crazy lines in there, man. Hex on the album to make sure it sells. I mean, there's people who are talking about this stuff, not at all in the mainstream, but in the hidden caves and the undergrounds and the dungeons of what is known as hip hop, what is known as rap, poetry, lyricism. That stuff exists, man. Hex on the album to make sure it sells. I've heard hexes before, as far as spiritual uh, vocabulary. You put a hex on something, you're putting a spell on it to make it um, have a purpose, rather than a symbol which is universal. It also has a purpose, but it's more of a relating to an idea, or relating to an actual, like when you see a fire flame, when you see a water droplet, when you see like symbols are trees, those are like symbols, but then the sigil and a hex is something with purpose, something that has more of a hidden purpose behind it. You have to know the person who made it in order for it to make sense. That line is in his mixtape. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, wow. Uh, Somebody who is only adept spiritually, or adept to vocabulary that has to do with uh, that type of uh, that type of subject, then they're pretty much into that. Here's another one. Foreign, my vessel, but that is my Merkaba. That would have me cracking up too, because Merkaba, I go in and out of what it means, but I think to me it pretty much means like it's like a. You can Google it, man. You can just literally Google it and find it. Hold on, let me just find it again, because I'm not up to the par right now. You asinine. No, we're gonna be okay. Internet, man, but I mean, he's got these lines, man. Strike when I hit lightning bolts. Uh, yeah, Merkaba is what is it? A vehicle, pretty much. Yeah, a light vehicle. And spiritually, it has to do with the body. It has to do more with the body. And when you understand what Merkaba is, you understand what a car is. You understand what a vehicle is. Come on, man. Like this whole this guy's whole mo right now, as far as getting messages through to people, it's speaking volumes. It's crazy. It's like so much that's packed into one. That's why partly why it took me so long to get this review out, because uh, I mean it's so in depth with material. So I had the lightning bolt since way back, man. I'll be feeling that on another level, because personally, um, I used to be afraid. I used to have a deep fear of lightning, and then one day, well, a couple occasions, lightning has struck very close to me. 3 occasions now that I think, 4 occasions now I think I'm coming to it, man. I'm just great. It's all in the past, but I've had these different instances where lightning has struck close to me, and it's almost a resemblance of like, look, man, you don't need to be afraid of this stuff. This is a natural occurrence. Just learn how it works, and I've actually learned how lightning works, and I love it. I love the science behind how it works. With humidity and positive particles, negative particles. That whole shit's fascinating to me. So something like when people are writing about this stuff and putting it into music, poetry, taking people like me and captivating us and capturing us and telling us to listen up and redirect our energies to something that is more uh, productive and more positive, or not even positive, but just productive, and something that's more going to be more fruitful, rather than I'll just go to real quick. I'm jumping all over the place, but Watcher of the East, that has a song on there called Sacrifice. And today it spoke to me clearly, after an incident that I almost had when I was shopping, not shopping. I was buying somebody's meal. I drive DoorDash. I was delivering somebody's meal, and I was at Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, and I'm waiting for food. And this old man, he's just irate at the fact that Popeyes does not have any salt, and he's just, well, why don't you have any salt? And he's just throwing a fit. And I'm like, yo, over some salt, you really gonna throw a fit right now? I didn't say that. I could have said it, but I didn't say it because it wasn't my place. I mean, it's between Popeyes and him, not really between me and Popeyes. But for me, being the uh, sort of being the hero, loving to be the hero, I take a tent, and I used to work at Popeyes too, man. I used to work there. I know what it's like. I know what the struggle's like. I know it's busy all the time. I know customers coming in, wanting shit all the time. Yo, all you gotta do is ask nicely and politely for the salt, man. They'll get you some salt. Ain't no need to be salty about the salt. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, the music Sacrifice, the song talks about, you don't want to live in the old life. You don't want to be confined to the chains of the reality that have been set here, not by us, but by people before us, the generations before us that sold out for greed, sold out because they wanted the money, sold out because they wanted they wanted some type of protection, or they wanted the power. That's the old way of living. That's the old way of doing things. Me getting involved with that man's you know incident with the salt, neither here nor there. He's still gonna be mad about the salt. I can't change it. All I can do is watch and observe and move on with my life and try to make my life better. So for me to hear that song after that incident, I just knew. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm on the right path, because uh, this is bigger than, you know, it's bigger than getting mad over salt at Popeyes. It's bigger than, why does this guy have an attitude problem? Let me solve it. It's bigger than that. Sit back, chill, vibe, listen, and then, uh, you know, go at your next agenda, promptly. Keywords that I hear in both of these mixtapes: intention, heretic, Merkaba. I feel like I feel like as an artist, El-Elyon, he rhymes with spiritually charged pulses and awareness. So when you hear his cadences and you hear his rhyme, like there's words, keywords, boom, they all rhyme, but they all have spiritually charged like intent behind them. Let me get another line here. Let me see. Oh, unlike I'm him on the greater key of Jupiter. But she ain't really understand. I make it play for the band. Okay? Yes, we're spiritually minded. Yes, we are uh, spirits having a physical being, having a physical experience. So with that in mind, it's amazing to hear she likes who she, I'm gonna make a play for the band because I have the ability, I have the spiritual ability, I have the awareness to go ahead and create the lifestyle, create the energy, create the future, create what it is that is inside of me in my spirit that's connected to my body and make it happen. Internet tough was another one. I'm gonna sit back, do a spell for the check. These are simple words and simple phrases, but when you when you connect the dots to the edges of what this guy's saying in the music, I'm gonna sit back, do a spell for the check. He's literally doing magic, creating spells, and he's gonna get with his team, put out the music, and then create a project worth uh, buzzing about and being in demand about. So let me see if that was it that all I had to share. Oh, Thunderbolt on Watch of the East. Sacrifice and Thunderbolt are my favorite songs off Watch of the East. The one song I think was Intent, Energetic Intent. That was also a nice little switch up and nice change. The beat is a swing. It's about him, pretty much laying the game down on a shorty, on a chick, on a lady that he likes, which is cool, man. It was cool to put it in his own way. That's really cool. Uh, but the vibe that I get from both of these is like I'm totally listening and plugged in. When I plug it in, it's like it's like if the radio could talk to me. If Google was a radio, Google was like, "Hey, what do you want to hear today?" And I was like, "Yo, I just want to hear some wisdom. What's today's wisdom?" Boom, his music's coming up. That's literally how I feel about this. Um, because he's putting in there things that I myself have become newly aware of and newly adapted to. Um, these vocabularies, um, these spiritually evolved vocabulary words that are helping me like pay attention and develop a listening ear to where when I hear other music, I can tell what the music is. I can tell the intent. The intent is more materialistic. But for his music, I feel it's definitely a good balance of both because he's also talking about Hermes. He's also talking about, which is also, it's has to do with the messenger god from Greece, from ancient Greece and ancient Rome, whichever. And when he's talking about this stuff, you also know that Hermes is also a clothing line, a fashion statement. And art, on his artwork, album artwork, he's wearing gold. He's wearing a Gucci t-shirt. So to me, it's blending both worlds, and it's really creating a lane. And to me, he's inspiring for sure because, uh, once people get a hold of this stuff and capture it, they're really gonna be like, yo, he's uh he's definitely come a long way. He's just I feel he's only gonna get better because he's practicing and he's coming out with these tapes. And I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on his next project, so that way when it does come through, uh, I will be in line and in tune with what's coming through the speakers, coming through the pen, coming from the messenger. So that's it. Greater Key of Jupiter by El-Elyon. You can find it on YouTube. Watcher of the East, El-Elyon. You can find it on YouTube as well. Hey, thanks, man, for hitting me up and allowing me to write a review. Hopefully, uh, anybody who listens to it, you get the message and you dig the vibe. This Cowabunga Job signing out once again.